This is Mariel to her countrymen. On Feminism.
Friends, feminism is a big topic, plus deeply personal and often misunderstood. To help keep track of it, I'm going to organize a quick summary onto one hand. Then I'll go through the evidence. Pinky finger. Widespread prejudice against women exists. Ring finger. No one is sure why this prejudice against women exists, but there are some good hypotheses. Middle finger. This prejudice overlaps with other kinds of prejudice, such as racism or anti-Semitism. Pointer finger. Ending prejudice of all kinds is a great plan, and we have particularly strong data recommending ending the prejudice against women. Finally, if we take all of these elements together, we can arrive at our conclusion. A thumbs up. Feminism is for everybody. Whether or not you stay through the evidence, you can now take that summary with you and give a thumbs up to your fellow feminists. Pinky finger. Widespread prejudice against women exists. A small finger for a big problem. Around the world, women face discrimination in employment, healthcare, education, politics, safety, and self-expression. The gender pay gap began thousands of years ago and today exists in every country. Women remain underrepresented in leadership positions, overrepresented in unpaid caregiving roles, and disproportionately affected by poverty. Violence against women, especially intimate partner violence, continues at devastatingly high rates. Even in places where formal equality exists on paper, the prejudice persists. It can be subtle, such as interrupting women more in meetings or not taking them seriously. Or it can be severe, such as allocating fewer resources to studying women's health issues or omitting women's health from international law. So pinky. Widespread prejudice against women is real. Ring finger. No one is totally sure why this prejudice exists, but there are some good hypotheses. The finger where we put rings as a symbol of relationships works well here because the roots of gender inequality reach thousands of years into the history of human relationships. There are many hypotheses, biological, cultural, economic, and no single tidy explanation. One leading hypothesis suggests that prejudice started when some early agricultural societies began waging larger wars. The ruling classes reshaped culture to pressure and even force women to focus on having more babies to produce more and more agricultural workers and soldiers. Meanwhile, any societies that chose male lineages for economic and cultural inheritance had to struggle with the fact that paternity is much harder to prove than maternity. Childbirth is way more obvious than conception. To ensure paternal identity, male lineage societies often resorted to controlling women's sexuality and entire lives. The invention of DNA testing in the 20th century eased this problem considerably. Sexual pleasure might have been a tense issue. Women are much more likely to experience multiple orgasms. Men have to practice in order to orgasm separately from their ejaculation, and male ejaculation takes time to recharge. Amid everything, societies developed various cultures around menstruation, with some considering it powerful and sacred, while others regard it as dirty or even dangerous. Aside, only 2% of mammals menstruate. Most of our fellow primates, elephant shrews, some bats, and one species of rodent, the spiny mouse. That's it for menstruation. So, while we don't know exactly why or how patriarchy developed, we can agree that it has been incredibly long-lasting and widespread. Hopefully, studying its origins helps us develop equity. Middle finger. gender prejudice overlaps with other kinds of prejudice. Many people raise this finger as a sign of anger. This might be a helpful symbol here for the anger wound up in social prejudices. Prejudice against women overlaps with nearly every other kind of social prejudice, such as racism, classism, ableism, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism. Nearly every discriminated social group includes women. Forms of social discrimination interact with each other in complex and sometimes catastrophic ways. Black women endured through sometimes painfully divided movements to secure voting rights, encountering factions that would prioritize white women or black men over their vote. To this day, murders and kidnappings of indigenous women often go under-investigated. Transgender communities experience appalling harassment. The list of such overlapping prejudice goes on, long and tragic. We need intersectional feminism. Coined by legal scholar Kimberly Crenshaw, the term intersectional feminism reminds us that gender justice means justice for all women and for anyone marginalized by rigid gender expectations. It becomes a synonym for the general political meaning of woke. Pointer finger. Ending prejudice of all kinds is a great idea, and we have especially strong evidence for ending the prejudice against women. This is the finger we use to point directions. Study after study confirms that gender equality benefits everyone. Companies with more women in leadership perform better, including profit-wise. Communities with empowered women have stronger economies and healthier children. Countries with greater gender equality are more peaceful and more democratic. Gender equality might be one of our greatest tools to stabilize the climate by stabilizing population and increasing workplace productivity. Even from a purely cold, practical standpoint, excluding half the population from full participation in society is inefficient and self-defeating. And beyond practicality, it is simply the right thing to do. Every person deserves the same opportunity to live fully, freely, and safely, regardless of gender. Thumbs up. Feminism is for everybody. With all the fingers together, we can make this conclusion. Feminism is about creating a world where everyone can thrive. Anyone can be a feminist. It means understanding that women and all people deserve fairness, dignity, and respect. So to review, pinky, prejudice against women is real. Ring, the causes are complex and rooted in relationship. Middle, prejudice against women overlaps with other forms of prejudice, so we need intersectional feminism. Pointer, the solutions benefit all. And finally, thumbs up. Feminism is for everybody. Thank you.
Nature sounds and photographs sourced from the Creative Commons and public domain. Please refer to show notes or mariel.systems/tohercountrymen for attributions. Finally, please like, share, and subscribe to support the series. Thank you.